This is the Tom Green Show. It's not the Green Tom Show. This is my favorite show because it is my show. If this was your show, you'd probably like it more than I did. That's just because it was your show, but it's not your show. It's the Tom Green Show. Tom Green Show. It's not the Green Tom Show. This is my favorite show because it is my show. If this was your show, you'd probably like it more than I did. That's just because it was your show, but it's not your show. Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages?
Favorite show because it is my show. If this was your show, you probably like it more than I did.
That's just because it was your show, but it's not your show. It's the Tom Green Show. It's the Tom Green Show.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
All right.
Thank you, man. Much love, man.
Amazing. Now save it.
This is Howie Mandel, and I'm on the set of my other podcast that I usually do and will always do with the lovely Harland Williams. It's called When a Stranger Callz, and we'll put it up on the screen right here. Put it up on the screen. I want people to subscribe. I want you to comment. And every week, every Thursday, there's a new episode. And you could also be on the show. You look at my socials and Harland's socials, and we tell you when to call. People, you call in and check your spam, because sometimes when we get back to you, it's in spam. And then you come on Zoom and we talk to people. We don't know where you are, who you are, what you want to talk about, and it's fun times. It's called When a Stranger Callz. Just click here to get more information. And now, back to this podcast. That was Sonny and the Black Pack. We're here with an old friend.
All right.
Well, he's not old. He's younger than me, but he's a friend who I don't see a lot. But I do respect you and like you and know you.
Oh, thank you, Howie.
It's Tom Green.
Nice to be here. I moved away.
Hold for the applause.
Oh, okay. Nope. I'll applaud for myself.
That's okay. Doesn't matter. I know you're gone. You're gone.
Yeah. Well, fellow Canadian, right? We're both Canadian.
Yes.
How old were you when you left Canada?
22. How old were you?
I was 28 years old, and then I was down here in Los Angeles for 20 years.
Right.
And then about 4 years ago, I moved back to Canada, and I got this farm. But yesterday was the first day I've been back to LA since I'd left, so it was pretty cool.
And?
I went straight to Art's Deli.
Art's Deli is where your mother and I used to eat.
Yeah.
I couldn't, when I moved down here, I could not afford anything. And Art's Deli, once a week, we could go in and me and your mom could split a sandwich. I love Art's Deli. It's in Studio City.
Yeah.
So coming back now, how does that Are you okay with what you've done? The fact that because this is such a dichotomy from where you live to where you are.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like I was here just long enough where it still kind of felt weird living in Los Angeles for me, even after I'd been here 20 years.
Really?
Yeah, because it just still kind of felt like, what the hell? Well, it's weird. I live in Los Angeles. And then, and so when I moved back to Canada, it instantly kind of felt normal for me. Even moving to a farm.
Because you're a city boy, aren't you?
Ottawa suburbs, but we had we always going fishing, and we had a cottage, up in Canada we call them cottages, outside the city, and we'd go.
We don't call them cottages here?
No.
What is it called?
They don't. Oh yeah, you still call them cottages?
I said let's go to. Didn't I say let's go rent a cottage on Muskoka?
Yeah.
But because that's in Canada, it works in Canada. Have you ever said let's rent a cottage somewhere here?
What's it called?
I guess I don't have to translate Canadian to you because you're Canadian. Yeah.
No.
We say a cabin on the lake.
Yeah, they all say cabin or lake house and stuff like that down here. So
I've never translated it. Oh, I'm sorry. It was good to hear somebody talking my language. So you leave, you move up there.
Yeah.
And now there's talk of we coming up there.
Yeah. Well, we're jumping right into the political.
Doesn't have to be. We don't have to.
The 51st state. Yeah.
Yes.
It'll be the first state in America that nobody in it wants to be American, except for Jordan Peterson, Wayne Gretzky, and that guy from Shark Tank.
Okay.
Kevin O'Leary.
Kevin O'Leary. Oh, that's so funny. But you are the king of innovation. I have to say that before I met you and knew you, I was dazzled by you, and I'll tell you why. I think we have a lot in common, and the difference between you and me growing up is you had friends, and I didn't. But I loved all the same things, but without friends, I got misdiagnosed, and thrown out of school. My favorite show growing up was Alan Funt was Candid Camera.
Sure, yeah.
And when I started watching you do your pranks, which, and watching you on public access, you were like an innovator of somebody. A lot of people in this business, and I think in any business and in life, kind of try to gravitate towards something and wait for somebody to bring them in. Mm-hmm. And you always pushed your way into our psyche in the most wonderfully creative, wild way. You're not old enough to know his public access show. Right?
I researched, but no, not when it was on.
Yeah, well, it was, I loved Letterman when I was a kid, and I loved skateboarding, and it was kind of combining those two things was what the Tom Green Show really was going out in the street and doing pranks, kind of like you'd see those old skateboard videos where they'd be out in the street, and Letterman would, of course, go do stuff on the street all the time. But we would sort of, I don't know, I just, growing up in Ottawa, I did do Yuck Yucks. I did do stand-up at Yuck Yucks when I was a kid. So that was sort of...
15.
Yeah, it was sort of a traditional approach to trying to get into show business. But other than that, there wasn't really a lot of, roots into getting a television show.
Not in Ottawa.
So we made our own show. My friends.
But Norm Macdonald came out of Ottawa.
Yeah,
There's a lot. Ottawa has a good history. Yeah. Mike McDonald. There was a lot of guys that came out of Ottawa. So you were a skateboarder. Mm-hmm. You're a musician. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was going to say you're a rapper. Now you're a country artist.
I've been recording some country music since moving back to the farm. I really started playing my guitar more and writing some songs up there, but it's the soundtrack for my new show. So the show is about me moving. The show called Tom Green Country. I moved to this farm, and it's where I'm going to live for the rest of my life now. That's one thing that's really cool about getting this place.
How do you know that?
Because I can just kind of tell, like everywhere I've ever lived, including my last house in Los Angeles I was in for 18 years, I was always kind of thinking, I wonder where I'm going to go next, But this is the first time I'm really planning for the future in a different way. I'm planting trees, and I'm excited to watch the trees grow. That takes a long time.
Your stand-up special is really funny, and you talk about that. And you talk about, which kind of, I got depressed a little bit by laughing. You said you came back to die. You said, didn't you say that? Am I misquoting?
Yeah. I moved back to Canada to die. Yeah.
Is that why you think you're not going to move any other place? Or?
Well, I'm not planning on dying anytime soon, but I'm going to stay there for a long time. But I'm touring, doing stand-up. I'm on tour right now doing stand-up, but it's nice to be able to go home from being on the road and being in a really peaceful, calm place like this. I have these animals that are going to outlive me. Donkeys, my donkey, Kia, is only 3 years old. They can live to be 50, so...
A donkey can live to be 50?
Yeah, so I'll be looking after Kia and Fanny for at least the next 20
Fanny?
or 30... Fanny's the mule, and Kia's the donkey, so there's
What's the difference between a donkey and a mule?
I didn't know the difference 3 years ago. That's how new I am at this, but now I know, because I have a mule and a donkey. But a mule is half horse, half donkey.
Okay.
So it's like a hybrid. It's a hybrid animal. So like you have to breed them. You have to make them. People make them.
It's like a woke horse. Like it identifies as them.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
a mule is just a donkey.
A donkey is just a donkey, and a mule is a horse and a donkey. So like the mule Fanny, she looks like a horse. You would think she was a horse. If you see me riding a horse in any of the show and stuff, that's the mule actually. And her father was a Percheron horse, and her father was a donkey, and her mother was a Percheron horse.
Wow, so you know the whole family.
Yeah. Are there zonkies? Like zebra donkeys? Zonkies?
I'm not sure about
question.
that.
I knew you were gonna. She's been doing a lot of research for this particular.
I didn't plan for that question. It just
but it's a
popped
good
into my
question.
head. Is there such thing as a zonkey?
I have seen that. I have seen that.
Okay.
But
that's it. That was my only question.
Yeah.
Is there Hamky?
Hamster donkey?
Half hamster and a donkey.
That would be tricky, but I mean they could probably do that with.
You could just hold it up and just stick it in.
Yeah, test tube Hamke or something like that. You can make that happen. But it's it's an amazing thing. Like I feel so relaxed and calm on the farm. It's been a different experience for me. I moved to Los Angeles. I don't have kids. I didn't get married. I didn't have anything sort of holding me here in Los Angeles.
You did get married.
My fiance is here tonight, so I am getting married.
Oh, you're getting married again?
I'm getting married again, yeah. So she's here tonight.
Sorry.
But
she's a beautiful young lady.
Yeah, you met Amanda, and so I didn't when it was time to think about moving during COVID. There was no reason really not to move for me. I was touring. My tour was canceled, and I thought, I think I'm just going to move back to Canada.
But February, it's February.
Yeah.
And March in Canada. Doesn't feel like it does outside right now here.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on tour for the last month, and I was strategically timed for February, so I'm pretty much
staying away from this now.
Touring, doing stand up during February. So I don't mind the winter though. I do love the winter. I don't know if I would like the entire winter, but I'm always probably going to do stuff in February and travel a little bit.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
I do like you. I think that you are always ahead of the curve as far as public access was, and I've read a lot. You've talked about it a lot. Joe Rogan kind of credits him with inspiring podcasts. And I think I did that show too, where we came to your house and you had a show from your living room, and you've always been like ahead of the time. I love technology.
We did one in a warehouse too once for Access TV as well that you did.
Right, but it seemed like you and your friends would just wire it up and just go to the satellite, and you didn't need a network, you didn't need an executive.
It was interesting because I guess that was probably around 2005, I guess, when we built Webovision. We called it Webovision. It was before podcasting was really a thing, but it was, and it was similar to this, right? We took a bunch of cameras and put them on tripods and set up some lights in my living room, and I've been saying I just made that movie Freddy Got Fingered, and after
I read for that.
Yeah, and that, that's right. We can talk about that too if you want.
I didn't get the part.
Yeah. Oh well, isn't that amazing? Wow.
Remember the audition?
Yeah. It was would have been on Maple Drive over at Larry Bresner's office.
That's exactly
the late great Larry Bresner.
That's
absolutely.
exactly where it was.
Yeah.
And I read for it. I wanted to work with you.
That is a real shame that didn't happen. It
was up to you.
For me. I mean, you dodged a bullet. That's for sure.
Not really. I don't care what reviewers say. I think it's a cult classic.
Yeah.
And I would have really liked to be in it.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's. I assumed that it didn't matter that much, but
no, it's been bothering me ever since I read for it.
it's funny the people that did audition for Freddy Got Fingered that didn't get it, and I sometimes that's kind of cool though that you mentioned that because
You do remember the audition?
I do, yeah, absolutely.
What did I do wrong?
Yeah, nothing, absolutely nothing.
He brought you here for a guilt trip, is what he
No,
brought
I
you here.
didn't.
Yes,
I
you did.
love him. I brought him here because I love him. I brought him here because I respect him. I brought him here because he does things nobody else does. He's on Prime, Amazon Prime right now, and a lot of us might create a project and then sell them that. He sold them like 4. He's got a documentary, which he's got a special, which is brilliant. He goes,
So when Freddy Got Fingered came out,
Okay.
did you watch it and say, "Wow, thank God I didn't get that part"?
No.
No. Oh, really?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
I had really just been living in LA.
Are you happy with it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I had to make a lot of changes to it because of the focus groups and stuff. So I wasn't really able to.
You should have filmed the focus groups.
Yeah, I know. I'd been only in Los Angeles, maybe in this business for maybe 2 years at that point when I made the movie, and so I'd never auditioned for anything before. I didn't really understand what the process of auditioning for something was. I didn't really. It was all sort of very.
I'll tell you.
Very.
I got a call.
Very.
They say
new.
Tom Green's got his own movie. He's going to be directing it. I said, "How do you get me in? How can you get me an offer?" They go, "No, we can't get you an offer." I go, "I was on St. Elsewhere. I'm a good actor, and I'm Canadian. And Tom Green, I got to work with him." So they told me, they gave me this address on Maple Drive.
Yeah.
You and me in the room.
Oh man. Yeah.
I didn't get it.
I know. Well, I do you remember which part it was? I'm pretty sure I know which part it was you were auditioning for.
What part do you think it was?
I believe it was for the uncle, the uncle.
Who played it?
It was Stephen Tobolowsky played it, and then that whole part got cut out of the movie actually. So
it wouldn't have.
Yeah, it wouldn't have. Yeah, it wasn't his fault. It got cut out though. It was more. It was the writing.
Bad casting.
It was the writing.
Bad casting.
Yeah. Yes. No. I mean, he's great.
Yes.
He's great too. But
I know. But I'll give you an example.
It was the writing and the subject matter. The focus groups didn't like some of the aspects.
I don't think
of it.
anything that Tom Green does should ever be shown to a focus group.
I agree. I didn't know anything about focus groups at the time because the thing is, the movie was designed to kind of piss people off, and then you show it to a bunch of people, and then when they get pissed off, they say we got to change everything because they're pissed off. It's like, well, they're supposed to not like that scene. That's supposed to be confusing to them. So, but it was too complicated of a thing to kind of navigate for me as a 28-year-old kid.
Can you imagine if you would have, before you released the Bum song, if you would have just sat at Sony Music or Universal Music and said, "What do you guys think of this?" I wrote the Bum song.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what a focus group? How well would that have released?
Would have never been the number
his
one
Bum
song.
was number one. Not only that,
Yeah.
it was emulated by Slim Shady himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you're not a focus group guy, and that's what I love about you. I have nothing negative to say except you don't have good taste in casting. That's all.
Well, I mean, that's probably the nicest thing anyone said about Freddy Got Fingered. It was just the casting problems. It was a lot of other problems people thought with it. But the thing is, I made that movie, and then we were sort of talking about building the TV studio in my living room. I always wanted to do a talk show. Like when I was a kid, I idolized David Letterman, and I sort of built the Tom Green show kind of as a pseudo Letterman type show, and I had just done a talk show for MTV that had ended, and then I made Freddy Got Fingered, and after Freddy Got Fingered came out, it was kind of like, well, probably the only way I'm really going to be able to make a talk show after you make a movie like Freddy Got Fingered, the only way you can really make a television show is to build a studio in your house.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. And so we built that studio, but I was always kind of paying attention to technology, and as in here, you just gave me a tour of all of these amazing holograms and all sorts of incredible things that are unbelievable. So back then it was 2005, and live streaming was brand new.
Nobody was doing it. I knew.
It was sort of like it was like, I remember asking some of my friends who were in that business, when's it going to be possible to put video on the internet? And they were saying, well, you can sort of do it now. We found these few little places online that were experimenting with it, and then we reached out to them and got some of the technology together and put it into the house, and did it. But the thing that was pretty exciting about those days was, you know, I'd invite up comedians and people I knew, people I didn't know, and they'd come up to the house and they'd kind of look around, and there's that clip with Joe Rogan that's going around, but really happened over and over with everybody, you know, whether it was, you know, you or Adam Carolla or everybody would come up and look around and go, oh, wow, you know, you could sort of see the light bulbs going off, like, wow, we don't need to sort of be beholden to the man anymore, you know, we can kind of go do this on our own. And it was an exciting time. It was an exciting time.
But that's been everything you've done. Mm-hmm. You know, even the way you pushed comedy further than any. I don't know that people realize, like, you know, and I think you've talked about this on other interviews recently, but humping the moose and things like that. But that's like pushing the boundary so far. It wasn't like when you do your talk show, you say you're emulating Letterman and working with what you can. But even when you did those kind of things, you pushed the envelope much further than anybody we had ever seen on television, much further than David Letterman ever did, much further than any other comedian I ever saw do. And that's what I liked. It was like you were just throwing, you know, even the fact that when you were doing your pranks.
It was those early days of just having a camera that you could just have and run around with without having to, you know, because maybe 10 years earlier, or, you know, to get a TV show, you had to have a lot of money and multiple cameras and lights and a crew that was professional, that knew how to operate all this stuff. All of a sudden, video cameras were there, and anybody could really run it. I went to school, learned how to do it a little more than the average person, edit and all that kind of stuff. But it was the sort of the lack of rules and preparation involved in making the show. Like when we got to MTV, all of a sudden there was, you know, we've been doing the show for 4 years, just running around humping moose and stuff, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden there's a sort of a hierarchy of writers and executives, and then we'd write everything down first, and we'd go up the chain of command, and then we'd come back with check marks on it. Okay, you can go do this one, but not this one. But that was, you know, so we didn't like set out to hump a dead moose, first of all. It wasn't like we woke up one morning and say, hey, what should we do today? Well, let's go find a dead moose and hump it, you know? No, it was more like we were driving around Canada in a van, and we had a camera, and we're looking for weird stuff to do. And we decided to drive across Canada at one point because we were kind of just looking for new locations and things like that. And we're driving from Thunder Bay to Winnipeg, and we haven't seen a human being in, you know, 3 days or something like that. And there's roadkill there, big dead moose, and we just sort of went out with, okay, I'll try to revive it. You know, we're just sort of improvising with stuff that was around. You're not going to drive by a
giant,
fresh, perfectly good prop like that, you know? Like we didn't have a big budget for props, you know? So so we just kind of tried to do something silly with it, with, you know, passersby. You know, I was trying to revive it, really is what I was doing. I was trying to revive it. It may have been misconstrued as humping by Eminem, but it wasn't actually. Eminem rapped about me humping it, but I wasn't like humping it. You know,
you weren't humping it.
I mean, I wasn't like humping it. You know, I was just kind of trying to revive it. You know.
Wow.
But it was really just more of a confusion.
Hopefully you don't pass
I'm trying to
strange woman who passes out. No, I'm not humping her. I'm trying to revive her.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. I see Amanda's face, and I don't want to offend your fiance.
Yeah.
I saw an interview.
She's a huge fan of yours, by the way, Howie. We want to get a picture with you after. So
absolutely. I'm a huge fan of anybody that's a fan of Todd McGreen. I think you're a sweet guy. But go ahead.
I saw an interview where you were saying that you stopped because the goal of yours was you wanted to create weird content, and then nowadays weird just isn't weird anymore. That everyone's doing
shock
something.
Value is gone.
Yeah, weird on the internet. Is that still
a little bit? Yeah. I mean, I think there's a few things. I mean, first of all, I'm a bit older too. I mean, I think at a certain point, running around and doing those kinds of pranks, I think you can age out of that a little bit. And then also just the fact that we're inundated with so much stuff on TikTok and social media now that it doesn't really stand out. Like I think maybe in that interview you read or whatever, but I've sort of been thinking this through lately, and I'm thinking what I'm doing now is maybe the weirdest thing I could do was move to a farm and do something normal, right? Like I'm living on a farm.
Though
I have these animals
abnormal.
that I'm raising. Yeah, it's abnormal, but maybe the abnormal that I'm doing it. But for many people around the world are actually just farmers, you know?
Howie Mandel here. Ever heard the phrase, you are what you eat? Well, the truth is, gut health can really impact our overall well-being in ways we might not even realize. Gut Check Plus helps give you a real in-depth look at what's happening inside your digestive system. They use advanced technology to give you a clear picture of your gut health and provide personalized recommendations to improve it. Take the first step towards a healthier gut and a healthier you and use code Howie15 for 15% off your testing kit at gutcheckplus.com. Ever feel like those manly man grooming products are trying too hard? Like they're compensating for something? That's where Feronis comes in. They're about feeling good inside and out. Their full lineup includes the beard wash, beard oil, and the shave cream. Whether you're looking to wash, soothe, or shave, check out Kindred, because everyone deserves to feel good in their own skin. Use code Howie10 at checkout for 10% off at Feronis.com. You know, I'm feeling good in this skin, and I deserve it. Yeah, but it just seems so, and that's what it's compelling and really well done, really well directed, really well shot, really well. Your music is great. Like everything is, you really check so many boxes, and that's what keeps. I think you seem to continuously reinvent yourself and have been, from a young 15-year-old stand-up to a public access TV show host to a real big TV show host to a movie star to a director to whatever it is you do to now. I think you're also changing the way we consume things. I think that Amazon, the stand-up special came out in January, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Thank you.
It's really good.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you got to watch it. Yeah, because that's amazing.
I'm so glad I got to watch it because it's and this is what I'll just.
And that's amazing that you're saying that coming from you, Howie. I mean, I really appreciate that.
No, I got to tell you something.
That's so cool. You know?
It's not. I'll tell you why. My inspiration when I first moved out here in my 20s, I've talked about this many times. I got to see Richard Pryor. And Richard Pryor kind of opened my eyes. I don't think anybody who ever saw anything I do would ever equate anything I do in the least bit with Richard Pryor. But Richard Pryor was the first guy that I was aware of, having watched television, same kind of television you watched. Comedians had bits. And they had jokes, and they had characters. Richard Pryor was the first guy that I watched. He came to the Comedy Store each and every night and cobbled together what became Live on the Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
But in the 70s, he was incredibly shocking in the sense that it was very real. I don't know if you know his background, but he was raised in a brothel by his grandmother, and he had drug problems, and he got burned by freebasing. But all that became part of his act, and it was the first time I became aware of authenticity, where, even though it's funny and he heightened it, it's real.
Yeah.
And when you watch your special now, it's a very calm, comfortable Tom talking about what he's doing, what he has done, how it is. You're standing there with your dog. The dog is on, you would love it. You would love it's just a really comfortable, funny, real, likable special. And then at the same time, he's telling the story of his life and this big move. You have the documentary.
Yeah.
And it's just, did you go to Amazon and say, I got all these ideas and I want you to buy everything?
Right after I moved to Canada, I did a show on Prime called LOL Canada, which was really funny. They had a bunch of Canadian comedians and actors in there, like Dave Foley and Caroline Ray and Colin Mockery, and a bunch of people were on there, and they go in this house and try to make each other laugh, and it's sort of a reality kind of game show. And it was so fun. And after the show, I had just got the farm, and I was talking to the people at Prime about this idea I had, and they said, let's do it. So it all kind of snowballed from there. So we started out, we did the documentary and the show, and then midway through producing it, we pitched him a special too, because I was out doing stand-up at the time. So it's cool. I produced it all. I've got my production company up now in Canada, and I'm sort of making shows up there now, and I've got cameras and crew and things like that, and it's really been amazing. So it's been really cool that Prime kind of supported that. It was really awesome.
We'll have have a link to his dates, and it is tomgreen.com, and also to these specials. Well, I don't know if you can link it on here to the specials, but they're really, truly, I'm not just saying that because you're sitting here.
Yeah.
They're really great. You should be really proud. I was trying to say that at the beginning, I jump all over the place because I have severe ADHD.
No problem.
I'm
no
probably
problem.
driving you and
No.
the audience
I'm
nuts.
following along. I think I might have that too. Maybe not diagnosed, but I think I possibly do have that as well.
No.
Can I do this one?
Not him.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, what? Oh, hand me that.
The thing that one thing that led to me moving back to Canada was when COVID happened.
Right.
I know you have like I guess you say an OCD about a germophobia, right? You've been
I do have
public
germophobia.
about this, right?
Yes.
I'm not saying anything that
No, you're
everybody
not.
doesn't know. So I'm a cancer survivor, and so when COVID happened, like I took it really seriously. I know everybody didn't take it seriously, but I took it really seriously. And I was sort of in my house and not going outside and really, really concerned about it because I figured, no, I had cancer. That seems like kind of a, testicular cancer. I got that right in the middle of my run on MTV. I'm thinking, okay, that's not very good luck, So I'm thinking, well, probably my luck is I'll get COVID too, and so I'm just gonna hedge my bets, and I'm just not gonna leave my house, right? And I didn't, and and it was, that's when I got Charlie, my dog Charlie, and I got this van, and I thought, okay, I got to get out of the house, so I got this camper van, and which I still have, which I drove back to Los Angeles in just on this trip, which is hilarious.
You didn't fly?
No, well, I've been on tour. I took my van on tour. My fiance and my dog and I drove here in a van. We're living up. We slept in the Mojave Desert 2 nights ago. It was amazing.
That's a real test.
She's a real lucky lady. She's a real lucky lady.
Oh my God! She's still smiling. She's in a van.
We're camping. We're having
blink
fun.
Blink twice if
you need help.
If you need help.
But so part of it was at the beginning of COVID, I started getting into some of these new cameras and stuff and lenses and things that I'd always wanted to kind of, when COVID happened, like a lot of people sort of figured, oh, I'm not doing what I normally do. I'm not.
You have a very funny bit in your stand-up about that too.
Okay, which was
the one. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you talked about how, and I did too, how you took it very seriously and you were Cloroxing things.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You were also posting that you were doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And they go back to Canada, because people would. It was in the beginning. In the beginning of COVID, you didn't really. It was interesting when you started to realize that it was sort of there was sort of a political divide about this, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I really got into the cinematography thing, though. I was going out into the desert with these cameras and lenses and just filming all this stuff for my YouTube channel. And that's kind of what led to, being out in the desert in the van I would wake up in the morning in, some beautiful desert canyon in New Mexico, and with my camera and my dog, and I'd be making coffee, and I'd be looking and going, wow, this is just so silent and peaceful. And I think maybe
Did you do all those shots?
In
the thing that you were in your documentary?
Sure, yeah.
Even the bee?
Was there a close-up of a bee? Or, well, I mean, I had some camera people working with me and stuff, too. Yeah,
so that's not like found footage?
No found footage.
I need a bee.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so I kind of got into like just sort of filming all this kind of stuff.
Because you're it's very cinematic.
Yeah, thank you.
The whole thing is like very.
I'm really kind of into the technology and the cameras and the lenses and just the ways of shooting. I'm trying to learn more about that now because I didn't really know as much about that back in the day. They didn't have the kinds of cameras they have now that are so incredibly clear, and so it's been a fun challenge.
But you've been like that all through your whole career, whether you figured out how to create and produce beats for your rapping, you did it all yourself and worked with illustrious people and actually had success as a rapper. Do you still skateboard?
Not as much. Like, I mean, I haven't.
The snow.
Yeah.
You can't skateboard in the snow.
I just got an award.
Nice. Wow.
A YouTube plaque.
Congratulations.
We got 100,000.
That is. You just got that now, or do you pull that out at every show? Do
you think I would do something like that?
Kind of, yeah, probably. Yeah.
No.
You just literally got it now. That's good. That's amazing. Congratulations.
I think so.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's amazing that your hobby during COVID stuck with you. I feel like a lot of people. I learned how to make banana bread, and I'm telling you, I haven't made it again since COVID.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like that's most people.
Yeah.
And you stuck with yours.
My two big things were I wanted to learn how to play piano, and I wanted to learn how to run these different kind of cameras and stuff. So so it's I think that's kind of a big part of the TV show on Prime is really. Well, me getting my hands dirty with the cameras, and it's a small crew, just me and a couple of people filmed that. So,
would you ever want to do another live show like you had before, just from home and stream
like this?
I could see that. I mean, I still have a podcast, the Tom Green podcast, that I sort of turn on sort of randomly every once in a while.
Do you have guests on it?
Yeah, I think my last guest was my mom, but
not me.
The guilt thing.
Anytime, Howie. Yeah, anytime. I haven't been doing it regularly, but anytime. You should come to the farm. We can go ride.
You're not going to the farm.
I won't
He's
go to
not
the
going
farm.
to the
You're
farm.
not going to go ride a mule? Or?
No, I don't want to touch anything.
I had an idea for a show. It's comedians on mules drinking beer.
Yeah.
So,
That would be funny. Your chickens died.
yeah, that was an unfortunate thing that did happen.
That's sad.
There's only one left.
The
right?
coyotes got him.
No,
yeah.
didn't you have one left?
Wait, I thought donkeys keep away coyotes.
They do, but this one, the chickens were
your
on
donkey
this
sucks.
side of the fence. The donkey would the donkey's off, and it's on. No, she's a good donkey.
Okay.
The donkey was off on the other side of the fence.
So the chickens were on the other side.
They were free ranging all around.
Yeah, but that's why they're supposed to cross the
Cross the
street.
road.
Yeah.
Cross the road.
Yeah. That's we just solved the answer to that question, that age-old question, is to stay
People
away from
don't
the
know
coyotes.
why.
Why did the chicken cross the road? To stay away from the coyotes and get into the donkey pen.
When are you getting married?
Probably this summer, I think. Yeah, or maybe you have to ask Amanda. I mean, she's
Amanda?
She's been
There's a mic
living in a
right there.
van for the last couple of weeks. She might
Amanda,
decide she wants to get out of
move
this
up.
situation. But
Amanda, move up to the mic right there. Point to the mic. Should we set a date?
Can I make
Hopefully this summer.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
My brother's ordained, and he officiates weddings, and he has really cool thing where he like does something with an animal every time he officiates a wedding.
Well,
Okay.
don't say it like that.
What happens to this animal exactly?
Well, it depends on the wedding. Like for
married-
me, mine was penguin theme. He married
So
me.
he
mine-
dressed like a penguin.
Okay.
And then he put a rock in front of her fiance at the time, her husband. And do you know the story of penguins? Do you know the story about penguins?
They mate for life.
They're the most. They're
Oh,
the
yeah.
only monogamous animal in wildlife. And the way they do is a male will find a stone and kick it to the female. If the female accepts the stone, that's the one they mate with for the rest of their life. So he dressed like a penguin and he kicked a stone to her.
and
That's
I
nice.
accepted it, and we're
That is
still
nice.
together.
And then he married her sister. He didn't marry her sister. He oversaw the marriage of her
Officiated.
sister, and he brought a what did he bring? A
sloth.
A sloth.
Oh, nice.
To tell them that there is no rush, to take things slow.
Yeah.
My son is here in the room. You're both here.
Yeah.
We may have an animal. We do have an animal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I suggest we get married right now. Well,
Yeah.
you know,
Just saying. Just
Time. Who needs
he's
Vegas?
really
Alex?
he's really good
Alex.
at this stuff. Where is he?
Is Alex here?
Yeah.
Alex, do you have an idea for them? No, he doesn't ordain us. He's ordained.
Oh, you're ordained.
He would be the officiant. He's the officiant. Do
What
you have an
animal?
idea for Tom and Amanda's nuptials?
What animal?
I don't know.
You have to think.
donkey may be involved.
Half a donkey.
Half a donkey. I have an actual donkey too, a full donkey. Kia's a full donkey. Yeah. And then
Kia like
Fanny
the
is-
car?
Yes.
Yeah, and then Fanny is the mule. But I ride this mule every day. You know, I do. I'm not changing the subject, but I ride this mule every day. I mean, which is pretty amazing. You know, I do actually.
Where do you go? When you say you're
just-
riding it,
I ride her out into the wilderness. So this farm is kind of a neat place. There's trails that go off
does
into the woods.
Amanda, do you guys live together now?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
So does Amanda videotape you going off into the sunset?
So, sometimes, but usually it's just something I kind of do just to kind of relax. Sort of my kind of way
When
to
you
get up.
see your man and your mule going off, You have like 100
It's
acres,
actually
right?
Really
Yeah,
fun
yeah,
from the
yeah.
window.
Say that again?
It's really fun when I'm like doing things around the house, and all of a sudden I just see him sort of like gallivanting by on this mule with his.
He gallivants.
I do. I gallivant
Can you
around.
imagine that? You're doing like housework or whatever you're doing. What do you do? You're not like you're in the house. What would you be doing?
Tidying up the kitchen or something, and then all of a sudden he just,
Tom Green.
Goes
Ride
by on the mule.
Yeah, ride
She's a
by
big
on the
mule
mule.
too. She's a very impressive mule.
My
She's
dad
a-
one time got my mom an elephant
Wow.
in the backyard. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Well, not a good story.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Caused a lot of damage.
I bet.
I was trying to be nice, not funny.
Yeah.
I did. I rented an elephant for the day for her birthday.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of things like that, that's what you and I veered for a long time. The shock value of everything you did when you spray painted your dad's car, when you I just remember it means nothing now after what you can see on the internet today. But I was going, I can't believe. They got to be actors. That's not his parents.
Yeah.
He didn't do that. Every time I watched, I would tune in to go, how far can he push it? How far can he push it? And that was what was amazing. And I don't think I could stress today to all these youngins that are pressing the buttons here. You guys weren't even born when he was spray painting his dad's car.
We were on
What
the
year was
Tom
that?
Green show on MTV.
It
I
would
was
have been
wa-
99
yeah.
on MTV.
Oh,
I
you
guess,
were
yeah.
born.
Yeah.
There was something
She's
about
40.
There was
Yeah.
something about the confusion that it caused. Like you said, are those my real parents? You know,
Right.
people didn't really understand that was something that could be real on TV. You know, there was-
Even poo on the mic.
yeah. This was sort of it was an extra layer of confusion, not just the act itself, but just the fact that it was on TV and are these real people? I mean, the only real
Was it real poo?
Yeah, that was real poo. Yeah, it was real poo. Of course, yeah.
He used to put
Of course.
We wouldn't. Of course, it was. Yeah.
he used to put poo on a microphone
Yeah.
and then interview people in the street.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was the funniest. I would watch, I'm being honest, I would cry. I would be crying until I thought I was going to die. I couldn't breathe.
No, what I loved about that bit was we shot that for MTV, so we were in New York at that point, and it was that. We didn't have cell phones. People weren't filming each other all the time. People were not media literate towards video the way they are today. So,
Right.
when you go interview somebody with a handheld mic and you put the mic up to them and they sort of get a little nervous and they feel like they gotta say something.
Right.
And I think even more so in the 1999, people were even more nervous about a camera and stuff. So,
Right.
so they would just sort of not notice that there was some poo on the mic. Even though it was like right under their nose and it was clearly smelled like poo, but they would just sort of, be having a very serious conversation about Pete Sampras or something like that. And
Howie Mandel here. Did you know that traditional toilet paper is wiping out our forests faster than you can say deforestation? We're talking 15 billion trees a year, folks. Gaia's now offers a new way to wipe that's kind to your behind and kind to Mother Earth. Gaia's bamboo toilet paper is soft, strong, and made from 100% bamboo. For a limited time only, use code PLANETLOVE on Amazon to get 10% off on Fruit TP.
so that was kind of like what I thought was kind of, if there was anything that was not just shocking but kind of interesting about that video was there was sort of a little bit of a magic to it about the way we would kind of like trick people into, just sort of talking and being there and
That's
not-
my favorite
yeah,
thing in
yeah,
life. My favorite thing in life, I always say to her and to her mother, I don't like jokes, and I find it much more enjoyable to put somebody in an awkward position or even sometimes just anger them than to make somebody laugh. I just think is that wrong to say?
No, but I found that when we started this podcast, we were saying that we wanted to do a lot of pranks. Like we wanted to do prank phone calls. Whenever someone would come in here and you wanted to do a prank phone call, I feel like you were alone. A lot of people didn't like the idea
That's
of
why
pranks.
I
They
loved
feel
him.
like they felt like it was mean to do something that someone else wasn't in on joke.
I think there's sort of always like a line there, like my parents I think the way they reacted to these big elaborate pranks, which could be construed as mean, but because of the way they reacted, where they were mad but also slightly amused and surprised, and maybe even a bit relieved because they saw that I was doing something with my life, right?
Right.
They were worried about me, what's this kid going to do with his life? And all of a sudden I was in school for broadcasting, and the show was on the public access station. The Ottawa Citizen had written an article about it, so it was like, oh, this is like the newspaper in my hometown. He's applying himself to something. So even though I'd be waking them up in the middle of the night with a camera and painting their house or something like that, they would sort of get mad, but then kind of, they'd always have a good line. Like on the new show, my parents are the funniest part of the show. I mean,
very funny.
It's like I've moved back.
It's a dryness. It's a dry kind of reaction, and they've got a good sense of humor.
Yeah, and that really was what made it. Like their reaction back then was funny. Now on the new show, like I don't prank them on the new show, but it's just we'll be in the garden talking, and they're sort of razzing me now.
Right.
It's this sort of, aging child that's come home and is still, being sort of treated like they're, I'm still their kid.
Also, I'm using the wrong, but I'm probably using the right word. Bravery. Your comedy was incredibly brave, but then the being diagnosed with cancer is devastating and scary, and then to make the choice to make that a special, because you would have to have made that decision not knowing what the outcome would be.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine. We all have, in our lives, we have loved ones that do, like, did people try to talk you out of it?
I don't recall anyone really trying to talk me out of it, but I do think at that time I think probably people knew that they couldn't talk me out of stuff back then. I'd be more likely they could have talked me out of something now, but I was pretty stubborn when I was in my 20s.
For those who are listening or watching right now that don't know, you had testicular cancer, and it was right in the middle of a successful run on MTV of your series, and then you stopped doing this series and did a special or a documentary or a short... from your surgery or from your after your diagnosis to your treatment.
It kind of happened like, so the show, we moved to New York for MTV. We were in New York for the first, I'm not even sure if it was a year. It was almost a year or something like that. About a year. And then the show was doing great, and we moved to Los Angeles, and the whole crew moved. Like a lot of people, or staff, not everybody, but 3/4 of the staff, the crew and the camera people and producers, got rid of their apartments. We all moved to LA. We got these cool offices for our show over on Orange Avenue in Hollywood, in this cool old studio place. And we were just beginning to start shooting these shows when I got diagnosed with cancer. So sort of immediately you're told, okay, we're going to have to stop the show. You're going to have to...
Did you think you were going to die?
I definitely thought it was within the realm of possibility. I mean, because I sort of talked about this, like, where it's like, I felt like if I'm so unlucky to have gotten this, I probably, going to be not one of the lucky ones that survive it, even though it's a very survivable form. I'm a pessimist, very much so. I'm always going to think of the most, that's not something you say, who says that proudly? I'm a pessimist. So, no, but like, I often kind of think of the most worst case scenario is generally how I always try to plan my life. Okay, well, that's the worst case scenario, so let's try to avoid that. I'm always assuming the worst. I'm sort of motivated by fear a lot of the time. So, I'm thinking, okay, well...
That's funny that you should say that, because as somebody who doesn't know you well, you seem fearless.
I always kind of think that, okay, well, like, if this show doesn't work, then, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do with my life, so I have to make it work. And in this case with the cancer, I thought, well, part of it was, okay, our whole crew was there. We had to stop the show, and we'd only been there for a few months. I thought, well, we could do another show about this. It would help people, and kind of kept the show going because it was the final episode of the Tom Green Show was the cancer special, and that kept the show going for another couple of months of
But
shooting.
you didn't know the outcome when
No.
you made the
No.
decision to let's shoot this and do this.
No. I mean, I did know that it was sort of a highly curable form of cancer. Like, I mean, the odds were in my favor that I would survive. So, I mean, it is also possible that you don't live from it. So, I mean, there was sort of a, I don't know. I think we were just so kind of, I mean, it is kind of crazy now that you mention it. That we did
haven't really thought about it before.
that we did that. I mean, it is crazy. I'll tell you one thing that came from it though that has, been sort of an unexpected sort of positive consequence of this is testicular cancer affects young guys, and I have had hundreds and hundreds of men come up to my show at my stand-up shows who've come up and said, I watched that show just a few weeks ago in it was in Nashville or something like that. A guy came up to me. He was this 45-year-old guy, and he sort of was very emotional. Like he went to the doctor because of the special when he was in college, and ended up having cancer and was cured, and now he's got a wife and kids, and was sort of like,
You saved his life.
This happens like all the time now. It's weird because it's if anything, that's been the most incredible thing that's happened from that. But at the time, it was, it was weird. It was. I will say there was probably a good week where I thought that I was going to try to handle it privately and not let anybody know because I was sort of embarrassed, about they're going to remove my testicle. That's kind of, you're 29 years old. That's kind of. At first glance, you're thinking, well, that's kind of an embarrassing thing to have to let everybody know. And so there was a moment there where I thought, well, like, maybe I should just kind of go handle this. But then I was saying, well, maybe that's why we should do it. Maybe it is. I think we also thought, like, well, this could be funny too, right? Like an excuse to talk about balls on TV, and then it seemed very interesting, and obviously
it was amazing. It was also groundbreaking. It's just that I can't fathom. Listen, I'm old, and we all have experiences with, if not ourselves, loved ones being diagnosed, and thinking having had that experience, I can't imagine going, oh, let's shoot this.
Yeah, you know what? The thing that's interesting about it, I haven't really talked about this aspect of it maybe ever, but like it actually made it a lot easier to deal with it because I was now focused on making the show and as well as getting through the cancer. But because when you get sick, your whole life stops. Or if somebody gets sick, your whole life stops, and everything was important, the show or the thing you're doing, that you're passionate about. All of a sudden, all of that stuff becomes meaningless, and it's like this is just focus on getting through this. And now you're in this sort of new territory where all you have is to focus on is this illness, and your life is completely turned upside down because you're used to worrying about all these other things and doing all these other things. And because of the fact that we kind of kept the show going, I was still able to keep doing what I normally did, and that kind of was a nice distraction, honestly, because it was a terrifying thing to have to go through. And so on one hand, you're sitting there terrified and scared, but on the other hand, you're going like, oh, how are we going to make this funny? Well, let's see if Glenn can get down into the operating room and see the testicle afterwards. And you're sort of talking about this stuff, and it's getting your mind off of all the horrible stuff that's going on.
Okay, so you did all that, but then at some point after, I think you were on some show. Did you walk off a show because somebody was talking about it, or?
It's happened a few times, but it's like, that's a weird thing that has happened, I'd say, just generally, which is people like, I think people think it's like, and maybe it is, I don't know, I took it personally for a while when people would come up to me and say, how's your ball doing, man? Like, how's, because I was like still recovering in pain, and people assume because I did this show. That might be the unintended consequence of doing the show, is people kind of think they can make a joke about how are your nuts, man? How's your nuts, huh? How's your one nut doing? Happens like almost, every day. I don't know, something. And so for the first couple of years, you'd be kind of like, what the fuck, man? Can I swear on this show? I just went through cancer, you know, and you're really still suffering with the emotional aspects of it. And it took me a while to realize that, I think maybe it's something that people don't think about. Like it's when balls has always been like a joke, you know. You got balls? How it's always kind of a gag word, you know. And so when there was a time in the early days when people would kind of make a crack about it, that I would get mad. Yeah. And
was it the Carson Daly Show?
It's happened a lot. I don't think it was him, but it's happened quite a few times. But like just generally on the street and stuff.
But I'm saying you walked off a television show, didn't you?
Maybe. Yeah. I try not to think about it.
Okay.
Do you think it's maybe
because I realized like I may have at one point, and I realized like I was reacting emotionally, and in hindsight I realized it's a misunderstanding. Like people were trying to be funny and didn't realize that I was kind of going through some
sensitive
shit. Yeah. So
what were you saying?
Well, I just think about it. It's not the same thing. Cancer's not the same thing. But like you make jokes about even your OCD and stuff like that, which is very serious to him, and he suffers tremendously with anxiety, with depression.
And I use comedy.
He uses
when you
comedy.
make a joke about it, it's okay. But when people come up and make a joke about it,
or they try to hold my hand, or they grab my hand, or they think it's kind of it's not funny. And I was friends with Louis.
Is that what you were going to say? Sorry for cutting you off there.
I was just going to say that I kind of feel the similarity where you're putting it out there and you're able to, make a joke about it, or like kind of try to see light in it so that it helps you in what you're going through, and people don't realize that it's something actually very serious that's going on.
Well, I was friends with Louis Anderson, and Louis Anderson, his very funny comedian, and who's no longer with us.
I know.
His routine was based on his weight. And I remember being with him in a restaurant, and somebody came over very rudely trying to be funny, making fun of, something like leave some food for us or whatever.
Right, exactly,
and he got angry. And I agreed with the fact it's not their place. You don't know. And maybe he became a comedian and uses humor to cope.
So it's exactly that. So it's a strange thing when you do a show about your testicular cancer, and then people make jokes about your testicular cancer. You kind of got to expect that's going to happen. But it took me a while to kind of learn how to kind of do the math on that and not sort of immediately react negatively, and just kind of go, okay, not everybody's thinking about this.
What about your parents? Were your parents? They had to be. They were in it. They were supportive of you making this decision. Because as a parent, I'm sure they felt as much as you had fear and as much as you had pain and you were dealing with it. That's their baby.
Yeah.
And that's got to be. I mean, your parents.
Yeah, my mother, I think, talks about it in the documentary a bit, but it's sort of. I think she was the one that said, she knew she wasn't going to be able to talk me out of it, so she kind of had to go with it. But it was a weird time. Yeah, I was living in William Shatner's house at the time, by the way, who also auditioned for Freddy Got Fingered.
Did he? Was he in it?
Did he get it?
He was in it.
No, he auditioned for the Rip Torn part, who played my father.
Right.
And not to bring it back to that, I know it's a sore subject.
Yes. Okay.
Wait, did he get the part?
No, he didn't get the part.
See, you're in good company.
But he was my landlord. Rip Torn played my father.
He was in it. I saw the movie.
No.
You didn't offer me. So sometimes.
But I was living in.
Can I just say something? Yes. People came in and auditioned, and sometimes you didn't see them as right for the part.
Like it wasn't
William
just
Shatner.
It was sort of like
William Shatner was the landlord. He came in for the Rip Torn part, but then he was the landlord. I came in for the uncle.
No, William Shatner wasn't in the film at all. No, not in the film at all. Another Canadian, by the way. What is it with these Canadians not getting parts in Freddy Got Fingered?
You have something against Canadians?
I support Canadians. Do you know this company?
Is it Canadian? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have to only buy Canadian now, of course, right?
They make
Another political statement?
This is not political. This is underwear. What size
very
underwear
nice.
do you wear? Large, medium?
Large. Let's go. Yeah.
You just said because it's
Are
out
you showing
loud.
off? Are you showing off? Are you showing off?
Amanda,
Smallest undies.
large, medium, Amanda.
All right.
Feel them.
Thank you.
Feel them.
Oh, very nice. Yeah,
No, very nice. That's the plastic.
I know.
These are
Very
four
nice.
guys from Montreal, and I saw them online, and they were posting on Instagram.
Very
and I
soft,
said,
yeah.
"Aren't they soft?"
They seem like Montreal kind of undies too.
I don't know.
In what
Montreal.
way?
of a-
Very French?
Just sort of French, kind of a nice sort of.
It is.
Sort of European kind of fabric.
I won't wear the
say.
underpants from Saskatchewan.
Stylish. Yeah. No, it's like
Or
burlap.
Edmonton.
The
What?
burlap.
No Edmonton underpants. Just Montreal.
Yes,
It's great
anyway,
because I have been living in a van for the last month, so this is nice to have some
do you
clean
want?
underwear.
Would Amanda wear men's boxers? Would you?
Yeah.
No, but she'd probably be
Amanda's
happy
small.
if I had an extra pair for sure.
Okay, I'll give you an extra pair. Here's Amanda.
Yeah, I'll
Give
bring
it
it to
for
her.
the wife.
I'll bring it to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll get you a whole bunch of man-made stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're Canadians and we need to support our people.
Yeah, absolutely.
We really do.
Absolutely. We really do.
Can I tell a quick story real quick?
No.
Yeah. That's
Freddy
kidding.
Got Fingered
Jeremy.
is one of my favorite movies, and when I was 21, I watched it like every day for an entire summer. And then my dad came out all pissed off at me one time, and he was
his dad showed up pissed off.
Yeah. Oh,
and he told me to stop watching stupid movies and do something with my life. So
there you go. And here you are.
Why don't you
Hollywood.
put your leg up to the camera?
Now you're directing the Howie Mandel show.
Well,
and-
wait till you see how much of a fan this guy is.
I have X-ray cat on my leg.
Oh my gosh. Okay, there you go.
Look.
You've got superpowers. You can see through
Put it up.
Put it
wooden
up.
doors with your X-ray vision.
Put it up. Cut to this. Look at this. Look at this.
Oh, this is amazing. Okay. Oh wow, look at that. I'm X-ray cat. I got superpowers. I could see through wooden doors with my X-ray vision. Yeah. X-ray cat. That's pretty cool. Do
My
you, do you
husband-
regret the tattoo as much as I regret making the movie? No, I'm just joking.
No, that story is kind of like the entire plot of the movie. So
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. Cool.
No, but except for me, second, Jeremy's thrilled that you're here.
Yeah.
Amanda's not thrilled that she showed up because she wanted to be involved in the wedding plans, but me and Jackie and my son
Got all taken
took
care of.
over.
No, that would be nice.
And we decided to make the nuptials ours.
Absolutely.
What's next, buddy?
Well, I am on tour right now, so I'm leaving
In a
here
van.
in the van.
Where do you go from here?
We're going up to Colorado, and we're going to be in Colorado Springs and Aspen, and then we're going up to Chicago and Pittsburgh and all over, all the way over. All the dates are on the site, but doing a lot of stand-up and working on new projects with my production company. I have some new shows I'm developing, and living at the farm. I'm enjoying it up there, and
But just in the van, just you and your girlfriend in the van.
so we don't live in it per like when I'm touring, we get a hotel.
face.
We get a hotel.
No.
It's a real, the van
You know,
is
it's probably too soon to bring
the
up the Polito story.
The van
but-
is really kind of a cool piece. What's that?
the Polito story.
No, it's Petito.
Petito.
Oh yeah. No,
Gabby.
it's not, no, that's a downer. That brings a mood down a
Wah,
little
wah,
bit.
wah.
Do you know what that is?
Gabby
you know what-
Petito?
I think I do. Yeah, just because
What was it?
well, I don't think we should even talk about it. It just seems like it's a little too negative. Maybe I don't know what it is. Am I thinking of the wrong thing?
No, you're
What do
thinking
you
of the
think-
right thing.
What do you
Okay.
think is negative?
Isn't there a murder involved or
Yes.
something in a
Yes.
van or?
And a suicide.
Yeah. No, I
Well,
think
we could cut that word out.
I think you're, yeah.
Cut that word
Just
out.
the word. How about the whole thing?
Whole bit.
No, it's okay.
No,
it's
it
okay.
is.
No, listen. Here's the thing. Let me just kind of segue into the van itself, though, for a second. So the van is like this. It's kind of cool, actually. I found these guys who were on Shark Tank. They have this company called Boho. Two young guys in Phoenix. They take vans. They convert them. They take Ram ProMaster vans and they convert them into these really cool campers. And they've got
Boho vans.
Yeah, check them out.
Who don't sponsor this show, but they could.
They absolutely. They're really cool. They're really cool there, and there's solar. But the thing that's cool about it is there's solar panels on the roof, and these lithium batteries, and you basically have power. So we drive out into these amazing national parks and incredible, beautiful, dispersed camping. It's called, places where there's
Dispersed camping.
yeah, it's a whole world. There's a whole world of places you can go out in the American Southwest in the desert and just be all alone out there in these most incredibly beautiful natural settings and just stay there. And there's power, and I can charge my cameras up and my computer and my phone, and solar just keeps regenerating the
Are you
electricity.
recording the tour?
Yeah, well, we're filming stuff just for fun, for social media, and for
We're going
my
to see it
shows
on
and things.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
We're
you'll
gonna
see some stuff. Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see that. I like that.
But it's really kind of fun. But we go do sort of a amazing location film, and then we'll go get a hotel or a nice
Four
place.
Seasons, like a Four Seasons.
Yeah, get a nice place.
Yeah,
and
I don't
take a shower. And
I know that's what I'm
continue.
saying. It seems like filthy to be in the.
Dad,
Well, it's not it's not sort of a germaphobe's sort of dream to go live in the desert.
Two people in a desert. Like what about?
But I mean, there's incredible stuff in the
where
desert.
do you go to the bathroom?
There's actually a lot of these campsites have bathroom facilities.
Oh,
and
you were
stuff.
talking about dispersing. I didn't know what.
Well, the dispersing one is, it's more like hardcore camping, but we
hardcore. Like, what do you like?
Well, you just sort of dig a hole in the ground or something like that, and just go for
Amanda does
No, because we don't go for long enough.
Oh,
when Amanda's
okay.
there. We just go for a couple. We go to places where there's nice bathrooms.
Like when you're with your fiance, you wouldn't.
I don't take her to the super dispersed where she has to dig a hole in the ground.
But it would be gentlemanly for you to dig the hole and go.
I would dig the hole,
honey.
if she,
You
but,
poo here.
Look, Amanda's from a military background, a Canadian military. We've got an army too, so careful. So we actually grew up on the same little army base, and we kind of we're hardy folk. We go camping and stuff like that.
You're not military. Are you military?
No, my dad was military. Yeah.
Why don't you use your real first name?
I've never been called Michael, and no one's ever called. I don't. That's a question I've asked my parents, and they don't even know the answer. They named me Michael Thomas Green, and it's been Tommy since I was a kid, and then Tom. No one ever called me Michael. I don't know. I don't even know why that is.
Is your mother dyslexic?
It's possible that my mother is dyslexic. Yeah.
Because I'm Howie Michael.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But nobody calls me Michael.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where I've always been called by my middle name, so I don't know.
What does your brother do?
He worked in a warehouse for at Canadian Tire. He works at Canadian Tire. So.
Canadian Tire is the best store ever.
Yeah.
I know Canadian Tire.
Yeah.
She went to camp in Canada.
Oh, yeah. Really? Which camp would you go to?
Northland, Benabrith, in Halliburton.
Nice. Oh, in Halliburton. Very nice. Is that where they shot meatballs?
I don't know. Is it?
I think they shot meatballs out in Halliburton.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Did you know that? That they shot meatballs in Halliburton?
No.
They did.
No, I didn't know that, but we could.
The more you know.
Yeah.
That was the NBC. That was the NBC thing.
Yeah.
That was a.
But there's stuff out in the desert that's amazing. We like a few days ago we were at Chaco Canyon, which is
Canyon.
Yeah, which is in New Mexico, and we were there for 3 nights, and it's this incredible.
Are there toilets?
There was toilets there.
Good.
Absolutely. And running water in the toilets. It's in the national park. You can look it up online. Look up the Gallo Campground.
Gallows.
In Chaco. Yeah, it's very.
We're looking it up
bit
right now.
morbid.
It's
Is
coming
that
up.
where Breaking Bad was filmed?
Yeah, you can show. You can look up on
You
here.
look at under the table. Under the table there. No, the table in front of you.
Oh yeah, all right. Yeah. So this is Native American ruins that rival Machu Picchu. You've heard of Machu Picchu?
Yeah.
So it's just beautiful. These things are out in the desert. These incredible stone ruins of these incredible structures that were built in the year 875 till around 1150. This civilized society that was out there. If you look at some of the
oh my gosh, I didn't know we had ruins
and there
in
are,
America.
I know that. So yeah, actually, just
You thought we had ruins in America? I went to Europe to
just
see
put
ruins.
in Chaco Canyon ruins. They're showing you the campground now, which is down the road from the ruins. But you'll actually got to see. So it's amazing. So when I started going, look at this. So
oh my gosh.
So this is in America, okay?
See, I didn't know. You knew we had ruins in America?
Yes.
Like it's like pre-Columbian ruins, right? So you feel kind of like Indiana Jones when you're going out there exploring
That's
this stuff.
amazing. We go all the way to Europe.
Yeah, so
to see things that
look at that. So
Who needs the Colosseum?
So these ruins here were built in the year 875, and then civilization left at 1150 because of a drought. But
what are these structures? What were they used for?
They were used for trade, and there was all sorts of cultural sort of exchange happening. People from all over North America came there. They found I've done a little bit of research.
From
about
what
this.
year?
875 to 1150. It was inhabited, and it was a sort of a central meeting point for native tribes all across North America. They found Yucatan Peninsula sort of artifacts and feathers from macaw feathers there, and pottery that's from.
I want to go there. Didn't you think that's amazing?
Yeah, you don't want to go.
I don't want to go.
You will not camp. You don't want to go.
I don't want to camp.
But
I want to fly in and then fly out.
Yeah, go in a helicopter or something like that.
Go in a helicopter.
You can
go in
do
a
that.
helicopter. I can do
but
that.
It's really. it really is sort of, that's kind of what it is.
Oh, I
that's
like that. I like
beautiful.
that. That's nice.
And we're doing a lot of photography and getting pictures of these.
My son
incredible
doesn't
things.
like that stuff.
Yeah.
Alex, we took him to Europe, and do you remember what he said? He was
That
everything's ruined.
Everything's ruined.
Everything's ruined. Why?
I find it so incredibly interesting because it's like we don't hear about this.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, everyone always talks about Machu Picchu or the Peruvian lines, and like there's another thing. Look up not far from here. You could go to this easily.
Okay.
In Blythe, California. Look up the Blythe Intaglios. We're going to go there again.
Blythe Intaglios.
Yeah, that's where Blythe is, halfway between Phoenix and here. It's just a little town.
No, I haven't been to Blythe.
Look at that. These are huge.
Oh wait, is that an alien?
That's a massive drawing on the ground. That is the size of that's a huge drawing. That's 100 meters tall. In the desert, it's 2,000 years old. They didn't discover it till 1930 when a U.S. Postal Service plane flew over and looked at it and said, what the hell is that?
Nailed to them something.
So there's so much mysterious stuff out in the desert.
What do you think that is? Do you think that's aliens?
I think it's aliens. No, it was the native populations did these things, but maybe it was to communicate with aliens, or maybe it was to...
Well, they were
Holy
obviously
moly.
drawing something that they...
They were drawing something, so that's just a couple hours.
If you
from
and
here.
Amanda go there, what do you do? First of all, that's a great picture from but when you're in there, what do you...
Well, I have a little drone, so I actually did shoot some video there when I first went there a few years ago, so I put my drone up above, and I get shots of all this stuff, and it's kind of fun. But not only is it fun to photograph it, it's just kind of very... sort of I know you always hear people say when they go to Sedona, the energy is so calming, but it really is. I'm not even cynical about it. You really do feel this kind of energy that is beautiful. I feel it. When you go in an old comedy club, like you go in a comedy club that's been there since the beginning, like the Ice House in Pasadena or Zanies in Chicago downtown, all the pictures are on the wall, and you feel the energy of comedians that have been there before.
That is not like being in an old comedy club.
Well, I get that feeling like in a comedy club. I get that feeling when I'm in an old building. You get that feeling out there in Chaco Canyon.
I think energy lives on.
Yeah, you're in you're this beautiful canyon, and it's quiet, and it's hard to reach. People don't really know about these places. They're not heavily publicized.
So what do you do if you go to that place? Where will you stay?
Well, we had the camper van, so we have there was a campground there, and we have a fire pit, and we have a fire, and we make some food on the fire and have dinner
on a
and
fire?
Watch the sunset and cook some food and
I think that sounds so cool.
Get up in the morning and make some coffee and go out and explore the ruins. There's lots of hiking trails and things, and you're just out there all alone. I find I like being alone a lot, which is a weird thing. I really...
Is that your vow to Amanda?
No. I mean with her, alone with her.
Okay.
I like going to these calm, quiet, sort of natural places where you're sort of alone in nature and just... And I enjoy documenting it. If you go on my YouTube channel...
Do you meditate?
I think it's meditative going out there. Amanda's teaching me a little bit about meditation.
Amanda knows how to meditate?
She does. She does know how to meditate.
Transcendental? Does she do that?
She's done some yoga and instructing and things like this, so she knows about meditation.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't take quiet.
If you look on my YouTube channel, actually go on my YouTube channel right now since we have this up.
It's Tom, not Michael.
Yeah. Not
go
Michael
by
Green.
and
just go to the last video on my YouTube channel. It's just /Tom Green, and go to the one right before that one. This is us in Chaco Canyon here, and this was just shot a couple of days ago.
Oh wow!
And this last one, how much is there? Because I can only show one thing at once, but there's multiple areas of ruins throughout the whole canyon, wow. And it's pretty amazing.
It's a nice location for the wedding.
Yeah, it would
be to have all your friends come.
There's the van.
So cool.
There's a night.
Holy moly!
Out at the van, I got my light up. And
did they give you a deal, the van people, because you're plugging?
Well, they give me a little deal. Yeah, they did a little deal.
They should give you more.
Yeah, well,
but I mean, you brought it up, and we are the official podcast of Bo.
Boho, absolutely.
Boho.
Yeah. Brett and David, say hi to Brett and David.
Brett.
Yeah.
Brett. David.
Oh yeah, they'll love this.
I want a van.
Yeah.
I don't think they give you a van. I think you have a van. And
I did buy the
pimp
van,
it
but they
No, I would buy a van, and maybe they could help me, and then we'll travel all over,
give me a
like
pretty good deal.
Tarzana and Sherman Oaks. I'll take you all over the place.
See the ruins.
Coima.
See the ruins in Studio City.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, there's a lot of ruins here now. It's sad.
But no, it's a lot of fun out there.
You're a lot of fun, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that it is a treat. Everybody's got to tune in to Amazon Prime, #1, to see the special and to see the documentary and to see what Tom is up to. Also, if he's playing in a location where you live, we'll go to tomgreen.com.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really Michael. But go to tomgreen.com. I love that your mother didn't use the name she gave you.
And they've never been able to explain it to me, so we'll have to...
Have you asked?
I've asked many times, yeah.
Do they call your brother by his middle name too?
No, it's just me. I don't know what it is. It's weird.
It is.
It's definitely weird, yeah.
It is. You come from a family that's forward thinking. Isn't your dad, wasn't he in computers? Like, isn't that his
Yeah, it was military, and then when he retired from the military, he kept working for the military and computers, as a civilian. Yeah. So
to have a parent that was forward thinking like that maybe is genetic.
Ottawa was kind of a computer town because of the government there, and there was a thing called the NABU network in the 80s in Ottawa, which was the internet, basically. And
the NABU network?
Yeah, my dad was like one of the few people that got it in the city. So we had this box in our house in the 80s when I was in high school, and you'd attach your TV cable to it, and you could chat with all the other NABU network subscribers, which was just people in Ottawa, and play video games and stuff online. It wasn't online, it was on the NABU network, but it was essentially the internet. And so I guess because my dad was, when he retired from the military, started working with the computer side of the military, kind of was sort of thinking about that stuff more than other people. And so it was, and then my friends, Glenn Humplick, who was my co-host on the show.
He was on the show, yeah.
He's a computer expert, and Phil Giroux was also.
Are you still friends with these guys?
Yeah, they're friends of mine, and they're in the documentary. And I
saw them.
Yeah, they're kind of computer guys too. So we were always kind of talking about computers and stuff, and building websites and things like that. So.
Well, you know what? You kind of teach us a lesson. You're an inspiration. You're a talent. You're a good human being.
I got to come here more often. This is great. Yeah, absolutely.
You've really. I'm a fan. I watch you not for just research. I watch it because I enjoyed you. I enjoy everything that you do.
No, it's amazing. I remember a few years ago I was on tour and I found your comedy record, and I don't know if you remember this, but I found your comedy record in a vinyl record. I'll send you a photo of it. I'm like,
I don't know if you remember.
I thought it was so cool that you responded. I was like, oh my god.
Why wouldn't I respond?
Yeah, I just thought it was cool.
You were at my house a few years ago at a party, and then the last time I saw you.
I don't want to. I'm a little bit younger than you, so I grew up watching you.
A lot younger.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 70.
On your head for sure. Probably
Let's just reminisce. We're going to spend another 15 minutes reminiscing. The last time I saw you, because it was traumatic for me. You were walking on.
I do remember that. Yeah. Well, we were walking, but what was
in
traumatic
Santa Monica?
About it? Yeah.
I came this close to shitting myself. That's why I had to run.
I
was running home because I didn't want to use the public restroom.
Oh, okay.
We were in a restaurant.
It was a quick meeting. It was a fist bump.
Went, hi, I gotta go. We were in a restaurant, and I went into the men's room, and I could not use that toilet. My wife was mad at me, and I was running home, and I saw you in the street. You wanted to talk.
Yeah.
I know you had more to say. I wanted to stop and go, why didn't I get the fucking part? But I didn't have time to do that.
Thanks for clarifying. I didn't realize it was because you had the shits. I thought you just were, not feeling like talking to me that day.
No. But now I feel like we've come together. I feel like this is good. I want people to subscribe. I want you to comment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thanks for being here. Take us out, Sonny.
Yucks to an organized rhyme, always ahead of his time, riding with Charlie in his van, moving back to the motherland, where his mule can roam free, out in Tom Green country. Get your groove on. you, man.
Boom. That's great. Thanks, guys. That's incredible.